Hi friends, I'm Natalie Carey, a certified personal trainer, and so many people struggle with back pain. I myself have an old back injury that I still have to manage. So one way that we can manage and alleviate that back pain is through stretching and strengthening, which is what we're going to do in today's session. If you have a current or acute back injury, make sure that you seek the advice of a healthcare provider before you start a fitness routine. I also recommend that you've got a yoga block and a foam roller of your choosing available close by, and we're going to start by laying on our back in glute bridges. Feet are flat on the floor. Knees are bent. Gently press your lower back into the ground and then lift your hips up towards the ceiling and lower them back down. And I'm keeping that position in my pelvis that I originally got from pressing my low back into the floor. It's a little bit of a pelvic tuck under. And this helps me to keep my glutes engaged throughout the motion. You can also imagine that you're pulling your heels in towards your butt. This will help activate those hamstrings and butt muscles. Let's do two more, and then we're gonna stay in this position. Good. Come on down to the floor again. We set up by pressing that lower back into the floor, lifting the feet off of the ground, and then I'm gonna have you start this movement by tapping one foot, bringing it back up, tapping the other foot, bringing it back up. If this is enough of a challenge for you, stay right here. If you want to make things a little more challenging, bring the arms up overhead, and we're going to lower opposite arm and leg. And then if this is not challenging enough, let's make it harder by extending those legs out straight into a full dead bug. And I'm not particular on where you breathe on this. Some people like to breathe throughout the entire movement. Other people like to breathe when they extend the leg out or when they bring it back in. Whatever feels good for you today. Let's do a last one and relax. Come up onto your hands and knees. This will be our first moment with our yoga block. I'm gonna place the yoga block between my knees. It doesn't matter which width it is. Hands come underneath my shoulders. I tuck my toes, and then I'm going to round my spine underneath, squeeze the yoga block, and lift up into this rounded bear hold. So keep squeezing that block, keep rounding your spine. If you have been told by a healthcare provider to not put your spine into flexion or round your spine, don't do this one. Keep your back neutral. But for some people, myself included, this feels really, really good. Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, and lower down. You can move that yoga block out of the way. We come onto our elbow. And then your choice, you can keep both knees bent or you can straighten them out. You can also stagger your feet or stack them, and we lift up into a side plank. When I'm in a side plank, I think about squeezing this bottom butt cheek and also squeezing my oblique muscles, which are my core muscles that are closest to the floor. I've got some tension in my legs. I'm pulling up out of that shoulder. We're only here for a few more seconds. Try to get your chest fully open and relax back down. I'm gonna switch over to the other side, get there any way that works for you. Let's lift up in 3, 2, and 1. Again, squeezing this butt cheek and obliques that are closest to the floor. Lifting up out of that shoulder. Again, you're always welcome to bend the knees and keep them on the ground to make this easier. We just have 10 more seconds here. Keep breathing. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Gently come down out of that. Let's go back into that tabletop position. Hands and knees. Do a little bit of a tail tuck here. I want to lock that low back into place. I don't want it doing the work here. I keep my knee in a bent position and I start to circle it around my hip joint. Your circles might be smaller than mine, that's fine. Are you working in a range of motion where the rest of your body is not moving, including your low back? So it's just that femur rotating in the hip socket. Last one. I'm gonna turn so that you can see me. You can stay right where you are. Set up in our tabletop. Lock that low back into place. Bring the heel up and over. And while you're doing this, you might feel like this is a stretch. You might feel like my hip hasn't moved in these directions before. You might feel like your glute muscles are really working a lot here. Those are all good things. Give me 2 more. Last one. And release. Next up, I'm gonna go into a pigeon. So if you're familiar with a pigeon stretch and you know that this movement is hard for you, I recommend putting a yoga block underneath your hip. But if you're comfortable with it, go ahead into a pigeon. I'm gonna walk us through it. I start in a plank. I'm gonna bring one leg forward with a bent knee and rotate it so that it's in this 90-degree angle, and then rest my hip on the yoga block. And you can adjust the position here, like you could put it further back if you wanted to. I'm gonna just keep it right here for simplicity's sake today. And you should be feeling this stretch in this bent hip. This is a really nice one to alleviate some tension in your low back. All right, tuck that toe underneath. Let's lift back up into a plank. I'm gonna switch the yoga block over, bend the second leg, and come back to a seated position in my pigeon. If you don't need that yoga block, that's fine. You don't have to use it. This is just an option. This can be an uncomfortable pose for a lot of people, so take some deep breaths. Try to relax. Maybe breathe some of those breaths into that hip. Imagine you're sending the oxygen there. And we're gonna release. Next up, let's come into a half kneeling position. One knee is bent, other leg is out to the side. Rock your hips back and then forward in a half frogger stretch. This stretch targets your inner thigh muscles and your groin muscles. And I find that sometimes those are really tight on me. And so this stretch really helps to alleviate them. One more, and we're gonna switch sides, and I'm also going to switch my angle for you so you can see it at a slightly different setup. Rocking the hips back and forward. And I'm trying to keep that toe on the straight leg. I'm trying to keep it straight forward. Keep breathing here. This is our last stretch, and then we're gonna go into foam rolling. In 3, 2, and 1. Grabbing any foam roller or self-massage device that you have. Let's place it under one butt cheek. I'm using my hands to support me. And then you can start rolling up and down that muscle. Depending on how tight your glutes are or the intensity of your foam roller, this might be enough for you. You could also, as an option, bend the knee to get deeper into those glute muscles. Just an option. You could also put this hand behind you for support. Anything that makes this workout and these movements accessible to you, do them. I want workouts that I do to be available to a lot of different bodies. So whatever I can do to do that for you, leave it in the comments if you haven't seen it yet on my channel. And then let's roll ourselves onto our low back. So this foam roller is now above my hip joint, below my rib cage, and I tilt my chest up to where I can see my ceiling meeting my wall. So I'm at like a 45-degree angle here. And then I just maneuver myself up and down or forward and backward, very little movements. This is not a big area. We don't want to be directly on your low spine, but coming at it like from the side. Release that area. Let's switch over to your second side glute. Let's start with that. So put one butt cheek up on that foam roller. Start to roll this up and down. Maybe go side to side. There's a lot of right answers in foam rolling. A lot of foam rolling is just experimenting, finding positions that feel good for you. If you want to intensify this, you can cross that leg over. I do have some clients where crossing that leg is just way too intense. And because I work one-on-one with my personal training clients, we get to find different options that work for their bodies that maybe nobody else has figured out before. It's very rewarding. All right, let's bring that down to your low back. I get this just above my hip, just below my rib. And then I'm rolling up and down or forward and backward. So we did some strengthening exercises today. We strengthened glutes, we strengthened core muscles. Those are muscles that will definitely help to support your low back. You can take some of the work out of those low back muscles and help distribute it. And then we're also stretching not just the low back, but we're stretching the areas around the low back, around the hips, because all of those things come into play. Set that foam roller to the side. And I want to finish by doing a cat-cow, so let's place your hands underneath your shoulders, round your spine, tuck your pelvis underneath you. If it's safe for you to do so, drop your chin to your chest. And then let's extend the spine as much as possible, looking up towards the ceiling. Again, rounding all of the vertebrae in your spine, pressing those ribs up towards the ceiling. And extending, looking up. Let's do one more of those. Tucking the tail under, pressing the ribs up towards the ceiling, away from the floor. And extending. And relax. If you liked this video, please make sure that you give it a like. If you're gonna do it again, make sure you save it to one of your watch later lists. Also, I've got more workouts like this on my channel, so make sure to subscribe. My name's Natalie Carey. Thank you for being excellent to yourself today.